Hello, creative friends. I'm Jennifer Edwards. I'm knitting a life and documenting the days. I'm also spinning and weaving and sharing this artful life with you. I'm very glad that you're watching my podcast today, and I've been inspired by Patricia Ann of the Knitography podcast. She is a lovely friend in Norway, and I absolutely adore her vlog. You should definitely visit it if you haven't already. And she often posts from outside, which is just this amazing magical land of snow. And I thought I would show you our snow today here on February the 25th. This is really not typical for our area. The snow that you see on the trees behind me, they're actually blossoms, Bradford pears that are in bloom throughout our neighborhood. We don't typically see this until the end of March, possibly even April, and we're seeing it now, which is crazy. And it's messing with all of us. You know, we're already starting to take our spring allergy medicines, and it's just really different. I think the thing I worry about is the possibility of a freeze coming along and killing it all. But for today, we're going to enjoy it, and we have been for several days now. It really doesn't look like there's much danger of it getting too cold, but it is going to drop. Right now, I'm outside on our back deck, and it's 76 degrees. Yeah, that's just nuts for February. And I'm in a cotton sweater that I knitted a few years ago. I am using fused glass buttons that I made with my sister-in-law. Each one of them is different. I may even have to shed this sweater. It really is warm. But I have actually taken you on a little walk with me. My walk this morning, I walk just about every morning. On my walk this morning, I took a little bit of video so that I could, just like Patricia does. See, I want to be like you, Patricia. I take you on a little walk with me in my neighborhood just so you could see these beautiful Bradford pears in bloom. Some plum trees too. We have a plum in our front yard, and a lot of our neighbors do as well. Forsythia's blooming, daffodils, you won't see those this morning, but the yards are dotted with all of that. So I'm just going to pause right here so that I can insert the little walk, and you can see the beautiful neighborhood. Those of you who are in snowy climes, maybe this will give you a little hope for spring to come. And Patricia, if you're watching, maybe it'll give you some memories of back home. So see you in just a minute. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. And it's obvious with recording outside here that just neighborhood sounds. Earlier there was a lawnmower. Just a little while ago we actually had a little sprinkle come through, and I think that's gone on, as you can see by our beautiful sky. But I might be chased indoors for numerous reasons. But I wanted to share with you what's been going on in my artful life. The big news around here has been my new ebook and video course. It is titled Discover Your Life Beautiful One Drawing at a Time. And this has been several years in the making. And I'm so excited that it's now out and available for you. You can purchase it in my Etsy shop. It's an instant download the minute you buy it. Very reasonably priced. There's actually a little, you'll find on my YouTube account a video that introduces it, so I won't do too much of that, except to say that if you've ever wanted to sketch or draw, just keep little snippets of your life in a sketchbook. This is the course to get you going and to encourage you ongoing. Maybe you've been sketching and drawing for years and you need some encouragement, some fresh ideas for documenting your life. That's a term that I love, to document. It kind of encompasses a little bit more than documenting your life, but it's a way of using drawing to be able to see our lives and to really see the beauty that's in our lives, because sometimes we miss it. Sometimes our lives aren't quite so obviously lovely as we have right now in North Carolina, but drawing helps us to see it. No matter how mundane or boring your days may be, no matter how painful your days might be, just in any way, shape, or form, a practice of drawing is a wonderful way to inhabit your life. And so I present that way of living life through the lens of a sketchbook with 12 lessons in an ebook. The ebook is 64 pages long, lots and lots of teaching there, instruction, encouragement, working through blocks that you might come up with, ideas, tons of ideas. And then along with each lesson is a short video of me sharing from my sketchbooks, demonstrations. I actually have four different lessons of how to draw with different approaches. So this is one of the approaches called contour drawing. I major on the continuous line way of drawing. There is another approach called gesture drawing, and again, I'm not going to go into all of this, but hopefully this will tickle your fancy a little bit. And then there is modeled drawing, so you are modeling, shaping, giving 3 dimensions to something on a 2-dimensional surface. Just very, very succinct, I hope, instructions for how to see and how to place marks on a page in order to express the things that are in your life. And then there's also, there's also expressive drawing, and here's one. Here's an example, although I'm trying to think if this one showed up in the book. Expressive drawing doesn't have its basis in representational art. So it's not like you look at the page and you go, aha, I see, that's a mountain with trees and a river. You know, it is a more expressive way of putting your thoughts and your feelings on the page with just paint and marks. So those 4 approaches are gone into a little bit more detail in the course, and I hope that you'll check that out. I'm quite tickled that it's out there. Knitterly Arts is the name of my Etsy shop. If you go to jenniferedwards.com, There is actually a recent blog post that tells you more about it and will link you to my Etsy shop. I'll have all of these links in the show notes for today. So if you've ever wanted to sketch and draw, or, especially if you have had in your past times when somebody made you feel like you couldn't do it, I really want you to give this a try, because it's a very life-affirming way of drawing that is designed to take off the table this sort of performance way of drawing that, we've got to have an end product that looks exactly like what it is I'm looking at trying to draw. It is a way of experiencing the things in our lives, the people and the places in our lives. So on that note, I am actually getting ready to start a daily drawing for Lent. And I did this last year, posted them to a separate blog. That one's called A Pilgrims Draw, as if I'm a pilgrim going through the pilgrimage of Lent leading up to Easter. So you can go to that blog. I'll give you a link here, and you can scroll back to last year's daily posts. I actually posted every day. So yes, last year I walked every day. I made a sketch every day from something I saw on my walk, and then I posted my reflections in writing. This year, I don't know that I will write and post every day, but I am going to definitely once a week. It may end up being more than once a week, but I'm not going to hold myself to every single day posting on that blog, but I am going to draw every day. And a book that I have just finished reading, which I think is a fabulous book, it is called Liturgy of the Ordinary by Tish Harrison Warren. And it is a beautiful way of celebrating the ordinary things of our lives. And I really get excited about that, because I think we so often are chasing after, maybe I should speak for myself, I am often chasing after the big life, and in doing that, I miss what's ordinary and everyday, and the things that I do over and over again I can tend to grumble about. And so this focus for me through Lent, what I'm going to do is draw something very ordinary. A lot of the drawing prompts that I have for you are pulled from things that Tish writes about. And so when you go to A Pilgrim's Draw, I'll give you the link to the blog post here recently that I posted that has this downloadable PDF with 40 prompts for Lent. And so I'll be following my prompts. You, of course, don't have to go in the order of the prompts. You could shake it up, you could sketch one each day at random. You could make up your own list. Or you could just draw whatever it is you want to, especially if you've taken the ebook and video course of mine. You might want to incorporate that somehow into your Lenten journey to Easter. So I'm very excited about that. I have a couple of sketchbooks I'm thinking about designating. This one has rather ordinary paper. I like that. To do some ordinary sketches on. I really haven't done much in this one. Last year, I had done just a couple of kind of crayon drawings, and I think I might resume doing that through Lent in this book, but I may decide that I like the white. I really do like sketches and drawings on white paper, and this one's brand new. I would be starting it afresh. It is a Strathmore visual journal. This one here I found at Walmart, and so it's just like the brown craft paper on the inside, which is really fun to draw on. It might not take water media very well though. So if you want to join me on A Pilgrim's Draw, follow me on that blog, and you can also use a hashtag for that one. There's a hashtag DocumentLife for the ebook and video course. And you might also want to purchase Tish's book to read during Lent. for inspiration and just really good rootedness in the beauty of our daily lives. So that's what I have to show you there. Kind of on that note, Lent and Easter. I never really was much of an observer of Lent until 4 years ago. And I won't go into all that went down 4 years ago, other than to say I had a pretty major health crisis. You can read about it on jenniferedwards.com on my blog. I'll put a link to that post. I actually did a remembering post here lately, and you're welcome to read about that. But during that time, I knitted and crocheted a shawl, and I call this my resurrection shawl for numerous reasons. And it was knitted on very large knitting needles, as you can see, using up leftover yarns in beautiful Eastery colors, ribbons that I had. I don't know if you can see the ribbon that's throughout there, all kinds of different textured yarns. And then over top of that, appliquing crocheted flowers and shapes. There are some knitted leaves, and I think one of my favorite things about this shawl are the little bluebells here that I attached to some of the edges just to have a fun little thing there. But it is I think what I love about knitting and crochet handwork is that it marks the seasons of our lives. And so I definitely, when I pull this out every Easter to wear it, or every spring, it reminds me of that time, which, though it was very difficult, was also very meaningful to me. And you can read more about that on my blog. But consider making something, knitting or crocheting, either a shawl or a sweater or a pair of socks, pilgrim socks. Wouldn't that be cool? Something through Lent that kind of marks that season for you, if you want to. If you're not a Lent observer, that's so fine. You might want to just do it for spring and have it be a celebration of spring and a celebration of getting through up to summertime or something like that. I am actually this year going to be, I have my basket here filled with all sorts of cotton goodies, and I am going to be, at least the jury is not quite in yet as to exactly what this is going to be, but I am crocheting with cotton numerous things. So I have been inspired by a tunic that I saw on a gal's Instagram, and I'll give you a link to that. I can't really pronounce this name. I believe it's a Japanese site, Instagram site, and the tunic is made up of mostly, it's crocheted, mostly mesh stitch, squares and rectangles, but also motifs, crocheted motifs, granny squares, all different stitches, all different colors. I love the Cotton Classic, Taki Yarns Cotton Classic. And so I'm just sitting down and, crocheting squares and rectangles. And my desire right now is to actually put them into the shape of a tunic, oversized tunic, that would have a sleeve, have a couple of sleeves. But if I'm not able to get that much done, it may become a wrap for Easter. So that is what I'm going to be working on. And all of these will be put together eventually, and I'm going to try to share that with you in my podcasts over the next few weeks. And I'll try to, I've got to take the sweater off. It is just hot, which is crazy. So here we are, shirt sleeves in February. So as you may imagine, my poor wool tunic that I was working on has been sidelined because of this warm weather that we're having. Something happens in me, and maybe it does in you too, when warm weather begins to show itself. My little hands just want to be in cotton and linen and lightweight yarns. I do knit and crochet year round. I don't understand exactly why people want to stop and only knit in the winter, because there's so many things to be knitting, but I do feel like I have a seasonal love for the yarns that are lighter weight, and this heavy, thick, bulky weight yarn, though I love the design and how it's working up, it's just not getting much attention these days. So if our temperatures get a little bit lower, that would probably be good for the tunic with the tulips that I'm working out of Kristen Nicholas's book. I believe I shared that with you in the last episode. This is episode number 8, and I don't think I said that at the beginning, but at any rate, episode number 8. Spinning. So I think I had shared with you in the last podcast that I had purchased from, I believe her name is, actually her Etsy shop is Old Sheep. I had purchased a bunch of wool batting, I think is what it's called. And so I have spun up this ball with one of those chunks of roving, and I just love it. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. There is some sparkle in there. Oh, here's a good bit of it right there. But just beautiful, very Eastery colors. Looks great out here with all the pear trees. These are Bradford pears, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. And then a few plum trees mixed in. So spinning, that's all I've been doing with spinning. Oh, there is a brown color that I don't have, but I finished spinning that up. And I'm just using a drop spindle, and I'm not very accomplished with it, but it sure is fun. And I can use this, I can knit with it, I can weave with it, and I have not actually been doing much weaving lately. I put lots of things aside in order to finish that big project. The Discover Your Life Beautiful, One Drawing at a Time ebook and video course. That was a mammoth undertaking, and when you take on projects like that, you really do have to kind of put on blinders and push away some of the other things that might be clamoring for you to pay attention to them and to knit them or weave or whatever. So weaving has been set aside. However, this week I am launching into a fairly extensive weaving project, an idea that I have that is going to take me through Lent up to Easter, and I will likely share. I'm not sure how much of that I'm going to share on Instagram. I don't know yet, but you can certainly stay tuned there to see if any of it pops up as I weave through Lent. And I actually had a wonderful, amazing thing happen to me a couple of weeks ago. A gal contacted me on Ravelry. Her name is Anna or Anna, and I don't know if I'll pronounce her last name correctly, Mayana, and she lives in California. She is the owner of an incredible online yarn space that is called True Spectrum Yarns, and she spins all of this herself, and it kind of features sari silk, S-A-R-I. So she asked if she could send me some of her yarns for me to weave, knit, crochet, whatever I wanted to do with it. I said, well, of course, that would be lovely. And she did. And I have received the most beautiful box of yarns. I thought I would just share with you a couple of them. because they really are unique. Now, she has them marked here. This particular hank, it is the silk fabric in long strips, actually spun with like a decorative yarn. So I don't know if you can see that there. This is the silk that is inside of the twist there. Can you see that? Just fascinating, beautiful, gorgeous. It's got a crazy texture to it that is really fun. I think will be perfect for weavings, and can't wait to use this. I'm so lavished. This was just quite an incredible thing. Here is another one. Now this one, she says on the package somewhere, or on several of these, this is core spun, and I was not familiar with this, but it is Polworth wool spun around a core of some kind of acrylic or polyester yarn. And so, it is hand dyed, hand spun. And this particular style of spinning is called core spun yarn, as is this one. Is this yumminess not amazing here? Here she says it's plied over acrylic yarn, core spun, hand dyed. Beautiful stuff. Now, here's the thing. When I go to her website, and you really should visit True Spectrum Yarns, you'll see the link in the show notes on knitterlyarts.wordpress.com. But when you go to True Spectrum Yarns, you do not get the sense of the texture and the color that is in these yarns. It is just rather incredible. Here's another one that I love. So she is a fantastic spinner, dyer, and she just graciously offered to me so that I could tell you about them. I mean, I don't think she knew that I had a podcast, but I want you to know about her, so that if you're looking for this kind of yarn, that you'll visit True Spectrum Yarns and give Anna some business, because these are really wonderful. You will not be disappointed. It's beautiful yarn. So I think that's all that I have to share with you today. I do love to have a book recommendation, but I already talked about that one. Liturgy of the Ordinary by Tish Harrison Warren. Lent starts actually this Wednesday, so if you want to sketch along with me, just a very simple little drawing, you can go to pilgrimsdraw.wordpress.com, and if you can follow the prompts if you want to. You don't have to, but just have some focus for your Lenten season. If you want to knit something, crochet something, you might like that idea of knitting and crocheting just random rectangles and squares, putting them together into something lovely to wear, whether it's a wrap. It could be rectangular, it could be triangular, or a tunic, which, as you know, a big floppy tunic is just made up of rectangles and squares, right? 4 of them: a front, a back, a sleeve, and a sleeve. And I'll show you more about that as I go along. Hopefully I will have time to be able to work on that as I go. And I hope you have a beautiful spring. I will be popping in at some point in the near future, and I wish you an artful day, and I hope you've enjoyed this Unlikely Spring podcast, episode number 8 of Knitterly Arts Podcast. Have a great weekend.